definition of insanity is.
I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
Remember, no Russian.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Are you not entertained?
Hello beautiful people, and welcome to our next video in the Real Awards series. A series where we take old award shows, such as today's topic, the Oscars, and talk about some of the mistakes I believe they've made in certain categories. Today's video will be on the 73rd Academy Awards, taking place on March 25th, 2001, at the Shrine Auditorium and Expo Center in Los Angeles, California. This video will be organized slightly different than my last Real Awards, as I'll be talking not only about the choices I believe should have happened, but I will also be bringing up some of the highlights of picks I believe to have been the right choice. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Actor in a leading role.
Tonight's nominees for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role are Javier Bardem in Before Night Falls, Russell Crowe in Gladiator, Tom Hanks in Castaway, Ed Harris in Pollock, Jeffrey Rush in Quills. And the Oscar goes to
Jeffrey Rush. Russell Crowe is an interesting enigma, because he would go on to be nominated the following year as well. And while his nomination that year would make so much more sense than this one, he would go on to lose that category, but win this one? And I'm not quite sure why Jeffrey Rush was snubbed here. As when you watch the movie Gladiator, it isn't like Russell is carrying the movie on his back. You can put any other action star at the time into that same role, and I don't think this movie changes all that drastically, as there are so many working parts in Gladiator. However, the same cannot be said about Quills. While Jeffrey Rush is by no means the only working piece in the movie, it would not be even close to as interesting or as much of a classic as it is without his performance as the Marquis de Sade. His performance is so damn nuanced, and you can tell that he is raising the level of performance from every other person in the film. This should have been Jeffrey's award for sure, and is one of the sole reasons I suggest to each and every one of you, go and give Quills a watch. Actor in a supporting role.
Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role. And the nominees are Jeff Bridges in The Contender, Willem Dafoe in Shadow of the Vampire, Benicio del Toro in Traffic, Albert Finney in Aaron Brockovich, Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator. And the Oscar goes to Benicio del Toro in Traffic.
I couldn't possibly have disagreed with this choice, as Benicio is at his best in the film Traffic. Joaquin and Willem also had amazing and noteworthy supporting performances, but they just weren't enough to take the award from the Academy's choice of Benicio. Every scene he is in, I am glued to the screen, and I genuinely believe he does his best work when in a supportive role and not asked to carry a movie. Actress in a leading role.
So the nominees for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role are Joan Allen in The Contender, Juliette Binoche in Chocolat, Ellen Burstyn in Requiem for a Dream, Laura Linney in You Can Count on Me, Julia Roberts in Aaron Brockovich. And the Oscar goes to
Ellen Burstyn. Julia Roberts certainly gives a great performance as a Karen in Aaron Brockovich.
Okay, look, I think we got off on the wrong foot here. That's all you got, lady. 2 wrong feet and fucking ugly shoes.
But it doesn't even touch Ellen Burstyn's performance in Requiem for a Dream, as a deranged and drug-induced lonely widow. This movie is harrowing, and that strong sense of dread and terror felt throughout not only comes from the script itself, but from the amazing performance of Ellen herself. She makes the viewer feel as though you are truly watching an innocent old lady fall into the addiction of drugs and go insane. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, while simultaneously my gut was telling me not to watch another second, as it truly was heart-wrenching.
I'm lonely. I'm old.
You got friends, Ma?
It's not the same. They don't need me. I like the way I feel. I like thinking about the red dress and the television and you and your father.
Actress in a supporting role.
Outstanding performance by an actress in a supporting role. But I say they're simply the best. The nominees are Judi Dench in Chocolat, Marcia Gay Harden in Pollock, Kate Hudson in Almost Famous, Frances McDormand in Almost Famous, Julie Walters in Billy Elliot. And the Oscar goes to Marcia Gay Harden in Pollock.
I simply could not see anyone else taking this award. The movie Pollock is certainly a slow burn, but the way Marcia plays her character kept me far more interested than Ed Harris did playing the main character. When a supporting actress can carry the interest in your movie like that, the performance is top notch. She comes off as this woman who is truly in love with a man's art, and then falls in love with the man himself, wanting to help him get past his mental barriers and become the artist that she sees in him. Then, as it gets worse and worse, she ends up having to give up on him to save herself. And at the end of the story, that is exactly what she does when she leaves, as she could very well have been killed alongside him. Art direction.
For Best Achievement in Art Direction, the nominees are Tim Yip, whose designs provided the perfect setting for blending fantasy and legend in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Michael Cornblith for the art direction, and Meredith Boswell for the set decoration of that Yuletide tale of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Arthur Max for the art direction, and Crispian Salas for the set decoration that depicted the glory of the Roman Empire in Gladiator. Martin Childs for the art direction, and Joe Cotier for the set decoration of the pained and turbulent life of the Marquis de Sade in Quills. And from a different page of French history is the art direction of Jean Rabas and the set decoration of Françoise Benoit Fresco that captured the culinary perfection of Vatel. And the Oscar goes to Tim Yip for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
As crazy as it sounds, I was about 5 years old when this movie was in theaters, and I was taken to go see it, as I'm sure my parents were interested in it. I still vividly remember this experience. I was in love with going to the movies as a child, and that love certainly has gone into my adulthood as well. Another reason 2020 sucked so badly. The art direction of this film is so striking that I could remember every second of the film from my 5-year-old perspective. And of course, having watched it plenty more times over the years, my love has only grown for it. It is a gorgeous film, and the art direction is a big part of that. Cinematography.
The nominees are Peter Powell for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. John Matheson for Gladiator. Lajos Koltai for Milena. Roger Deakins for O Brother, Where Art Thou? Caleb Deschanel for The Patriot. Let's hope it's a name I can pronounce.
In real life, the Oscar goes to Peter Powell for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
The cinematography is another key factor into the beauty that I just stated this film has. The shots that are captured in this film are so picture perfect. You can tell the choreography was built around the shot that they wanted to film, rather than the other way around. And just looking at scenes like the fight in the trees, and in one of the best edited and shot scenes of its time in the calligraphy scene, this movie is just so special, and the cinematography can take a lot of credit for that. Costume design.
I'm here to present tonight's award for Best Achievement in Costume Design. The nominees are
the history and traditions of ancient China were the inspirations for the colorful designs of nominee Tim Yip and his memorable costumes for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The humorous drawings of Dr. Seuss were adapted for the screen by nominee Rita Ryak, who created the wardrobe for The Grinch and The Good People of Whoville. The power, glory, and opulence of the Roman Empire provided the themes for the magnificent costumes designed by nominee Jan T. Yates for Gladiator. In 102 Dalmatians, nominee Anthony Powell not only saw spots, but plenty of color for his splashy costume creations in this second tale of canine kleptomania. And in Quills, Jacqueline West's costumes reached back in time to evoke the dark period of the French Revolution and the final days of the Marquis de Sade.
and the Oscar goes to
The Grinch Stole Christmas. Just because a movie takes part in the past does not mean it automatically should win for costume design. We will see this so often that either a period piece or an ancient history war movie will almost always take this award and fill up the nominations for this award. Sometimes these nominations and wins are deserved, but with how often this happens, it just gets very frustrating. Either way, say what you want about Ron Howard's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but the costumes were for sure the best of the year, with the designers capturing the feeling of the original Seuss novel and the animated short ever so perfectly. It is a Christmas classic, no matter how memed and weirdly adult it may be. Direction.
The nominees for Best Achievement in Directing are for Billy Elliot, Stephen Daldry. For Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ang Lee. For Aaron Brockovich, Steven Soderbergh. For Gladiator, Ridley Scott. For Traffic, Steven Soderbergh. And the Oscar goes to
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay, so I know that Ridley Scott did some amazing things with Gladiator, and had a very good vision and executed it well. But as I've stated before, Gladiator is such a memorable and good movie because of the sum of its parts, and not for any one amazing thing. The performances are great, the direction is great, the editing is meh, but Crouching Tiger isn't just great, it's a masterpiece, and arguably the more memorable and watchable film simply because its direction and editing is so good. The direction by Ang Lee is insanely great, and every scene is like a picture in motion. The choices made with how to adapt the writer's vision to scene is so well done, with not a single scene feeling like it doesn't belong or goes on for too long. The pacing of the film is almost perfect, with us the viewers learning new things at a steady pace while getting led through the story. Film editing.
It's my privilege to read the nominations in the category of editing. For Almost Famous, Joe Hutching and Saar Klein. For Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Tim Squires. For Gladiator, Pietro Scalia. For Traffic, Stephen Medioni. For Wonder Boys, Didi Allen. And the Oscar goes to
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. By far, this was the most glaring correction that I feel needed to be made. Not only is Crouching Tiger the best edited film out of the 5, but the Academy's pick of Traffic was the most poorly edited of the 5. All of the other 4 movies here had clear editing troubles, whether it was this god-awful scene from Almost Famous, or the fact that things like the air tank and Gladiator were just glossed over, making it super obvious that someone in the editing room got lazy. Traffic is just so underwhelming in the editing department, and the choice of this ugly ass filter over everything. It's very obvious why they have blue light for certain scenes and the orange filter for the others that take place in Mexico, but it's just done so poorly and makes the film so damn ugly. And Wonder Boys was just meh all throughout. Enough about why every other film nominated here did not win. Let me show you just one masterfully edited scene from Crouching Tiger, and while the entire movie is edited this well, this scene alone is a masterclass in editing. At this part in the film, Yu Shu-lien has already fought Jin Yu, without yet knowing who it was, as she was masked at the time. However, as the scene plays out, it seems like a simple scene, with Jin showing Yu her calligraphy skills. What the editing does is show exactly when and why Yu Shu discovers that Jin is the masked thief. This film is filled with amazingly edited scenes such as this, with the editing for the fight scenes being just as well done. This, along with all the faults of the other films, leaves Crouching Tiger as my pick for best film editing. Visual effects.
The nominees for Best Achievement in Visual Effects are Today, the Colosseum of Rome stands in ruins, but in the hands of nominees John Nelson, Neil Cobbold, Tim Burke, and Rob Harvey, the beauty and the majesty of this ancient arena was restored to its original glory in Gladiator. In Hollow Man, Kevin Bacon plays a doctor who takes his own medicine. Nominees Scott E. Anderson, Craig Higgs, Scott Stockdeck, and Stan Parks use texture mapping and computer animation to slowly turn the visible into the invisible. And it was a perfectly nice day when the Andrea Gale set out to sea, only to run into the awesome special effects of nominees Stefan Fangmeyer, Habib Jagapour, John Frazier, and Walt Conti, who did indeed create the perfect storm. And the Oscar goes to
Hollow Man. This award should certainly have gone to Hollow Man. While Hollow Man isn't one of the best movies of the year or anything like Gladiator was, the VFX are practically untouchable at the time, and with how they actually did it being stunning. They also hold up so much, even to this day. And while the VFX in Gladiator were fairly clever and well done, such as how we got the real-life tigers to appear as though they were really there with the actors, it just is not comparable to the miraculous effects in Hollow Man. Best Screenplay Adapted.
The nominees in this century are Robert Nelson Jacobs for Chocolat, based on the novel by Joanne Harris. Wang Hui Ling, James Seamus, Chai Kuo Jung for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, based on the book by Wang Du Lu. Ethan Cohen and Joel Cohen for O Brother, Where Art Thou, based on the Odyssey by Homer. Stephen Gagan for Traffic, based on the British series Traffic, created by Simon Moore. Steve Close for Wonder Boys, based on the novel by Michael Chabon. And the Oscar goes to
Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, the Coen brothers. Now the reasoning for my choice here is actually going to sound a little weird, as I believe that this is the most poorly adapted story of the bunch, but to me that is more of a strength than a knock. Adapted screenplay is a screenplay inspired and directly taking from a previous work, and then adapting that work to the big screen. So why is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou a poor adaptation? Because it is hardly an adaptation at all. To be completely honest, I truly believe this should have been in the original screenplay category, but because of its extremely loose adaptation of some minor things from Homer's Odyssey, it is considered to be in the adopted category. In all fairness, this is the Coen brothers' fault, as they clearly claim before the movie starts that it is a work pulled from the Odyssey, but even they themselves claim to have never even read it. The parts that are clearly somewhat inspired by the Odyssey, of course the Cyclops being John Goodman's character and the Sirens being the ladies at the lake. Outside of these instances though, the rest of the movie has basically nothing to do with the Odyssey and is a completely original story, outside of character names. Now I believe that the original parts are what makes the screenplay so good, and that is why it's a weird pick for me. But I'm not the one who chose the nominees or where they went, as far as what they were nominated for. In my opinion, this should have been in the original screenplay and was the best screenplay, original or adapted. Best Animated Short.
The nominees for Best Animated Short are Father and Daughter, Michael Dudok DeWitt. The Periwig Maker, Stefan Scheffler and Annette Scheffler. Rejected, Don Hertzfeld. And the Oscar goes to Father and Daughter, Michael Dudok DeWitt.
I absolutely had to agree with this category, as the pick here was easily the best of the three nominated. And as much as I want to gush about the winner here, we have to talk about one of the other nominees first, because yeah, what the hell. This background story for this animated short is that the artist was making some shorts for possible commercials to be aired for a company, and these all were rejected. Of course, because of their nonsensical and ridiculous nature. It almost seems like a cruel joke that this was even nominated. Not that edgy humor can't be funny and entertaining, but this stuff was just childish and not something I would have ever wanted associated with the Academy Awards. I'm so glad this didn't win, as Father and Daughter is just such a beautiful story, and the artwork equally so. It is silent storytelling done right, and will hold your attention for the entire runtime, while also pulling at your heartstrings with the visuals and music. It is just wonderful, and I'm so happy that it actually won. Best Picture.
The nominees are Chocolat, David Brown, Kit Golden, and Leslie Holleran, producers. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Bill Kong, C. Lee Kong, and Ang Lee, producers. Aaron Brockovich, Danny DeVito, Michael Schamberg, and Stacy Shear, producers. Gladiator, Douglas Wick, David Franzoni, and Branko Lustig, producers. Traffic, Edward Zwick, Marshall Herskowitz, and Laura Bickford, producers. And the Oscar goes to Gladiator, Douglas Wick, David Franzoni, and Branko Lustig, producers.
With how many awards I gave to Crouching Tiger, I'm sure you're wondering why I didn't give it the award here. But as I stated earlier, Gladiator is as great as the sum of its parts. Crouching Tiger has its flaws, such as some of the writing is not so great, and a few of the actors and actresses' performance leave a lot to be desired. While I still hold that movie in high regard, I also see that I have a lot of bias towards it, and Gladiator was the better film as a whole, and therefore still deserved to win Best Picture. Well, beautiful people, that's it for today's Real Awards, covering my thoughts on the 73rd Academy Awards. Before you go though, here are the numbers. 60 plus hours of movies watched and critiqued, 13 categories discussed, with 7 corrections made. Thank you all again as always for even considering watching my video. More content will be dropped monthly, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.